Nate. How's life? I don't know. It's alright. I've been dealing with some things like every human being and really didn't sleep much last night. I'm sorry. That's fine. I just think I need a little me time. I just think I need a little free time. A little break from the shows and the bus rides. Yeah. Last year I had a breakdown. Thoughts telling me I'm lost, getting too loud. Had to see a therapist and I found out something funny's going on up in my house. Yeah, started thinking maybe I should move out. You know, pack my car, take a new route. Clean up my yard, get the noose out. Hang up my heart, let it air out. I've been searching. What does that mean, Nate? I've been learning. Grabbing my keepsakes, leaving my burdens. Well, I brought a few with me. I'm not perfect. Looking at the view like this concerns me. Picking up the cues right, I'm quite nervous. Hate it when I lose sight, life gets blurry and things might hurt me. It's probably gonna be a long journey, but it's worth it though. Cold world out there, kids, grab your coats. Been a minute, I know, now I'm back to Rome. Looking for the antidote to crack the code. Pretty good, I admit it, I'm in classic mode. Don't need pity given to me, but I can't condone. Talking down to me, I'ma have to crack your nose for cracking jokes. I'm looking for the map, the hope, you see that? Been making a whole lot of changes. Wrote a song about that, you should play it. I get scared when I walk on these stages. I look at the crowd and see so many faces. Yeah, that's when I start to get anxious. That's when my thoughts can be dangerous. That's when I put on my makeup and drown in self-hatred. Forget what I'm saying and where'd the beat go? Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame, it upon my stomach. Throw it back up like I don't want it. Wipe my face, clean up my vomit. OCD trying to push my buttons. I said don't touch it. Now y'all done it. I can be critical, never typical. Intricate with every syllable, I'm a criminal. Intimate but never political, pretty visual. Even if you hate it, I make you feel like you're in it though. You call me what you want, but never call me forgettable. Leave you deep in thought, I can never swim in the kiddie pool. Waited, I've been thinking the cinematic is beautiful. Man, I don't know if I'm making movies or music videos. Yeah, the sales can rise, doesn't mean much though when your health declines. See, we've all got something that we trapped inside that we try to suffocate, you know, hoping it dies. Try to hold it underwater, but it always survives. And it comes up out of nowhere like an evil surprise. Then it hovers over you to tell you millions of lies. You don't relate to that? Must not be as crazy as I'm. The point I'm making is the mind is a powerful place, and what you feed it can affect you in a powerful way. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, but it's not always safe. Just hang with me, this'll only take a moment, okay? Just think about it for a second. If you look at your face, every day when you get up and think you'll never be great, you'll never be great. Not because you're not, but the hate will always find a way to cut you up and murder your faith. I've been developing, take a look at the benefits. Nothing to meddle with, I can never be delicate. Mind irrelevant, that depends how you measure it. Take a measurement to back it up and give me the evidence. Pretty evident, dependable, can never be tentative. I'm a gentleman, depending on if I think you're genuine. Pretty elegant, but not afraid to tell you to get it. Grip proper etiquette, I keep it to myself when I celebrate, huh? It's that time again. Better grab your balloons and invite your friends. Seat belts back on, yeah, strap them in. Look at me, everybody, I'm smiling big. On a road right now that I can't predict. Tell me tone that down, but I can't resist. Y'all know that sound, better raise your fist. The search begins, I'm back, so enjoy the trip, huh?
Red alert, John, shine a light. smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's trying, I feel tension rising. I hear voices in my head.
Hello and welcome to the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Reese Rock Jones and
John Randy Smith. As we give you our reactions to WrestleMania Backlash. Or should we say Backlash?
which did kind of turn into Predictalash, so we'll get into that in a brief moment. So we had 6 confirmed matches here that
On mute, by the way, my colleague.
we had 6 confirmed matches on this card.
And one of them was a pre-show match that we didn't see coming because one of us, which was me, was on holiday, so apologies.
Well, like they added that match literally during the pre-show when they announced that Sheamus would come out to do an open challenge, but it would not be a United States Championship match.
Yeah.
We'll keep this short and sweet. Ricochet answered the challenge. And after being hit with a knee strike, not the bro kick, Sheamus would pick up the victory. The opening contest was the triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship.
As Rhea Ripley put her title on the line against Asuka and Charlotte Flair.
Now, we said last week that the inclusion of Charlotte into this match had us slightly worried that they were going to use Ripley as a transitional champion to pass the title back to Charlotte, which was probably going to be the original plan at WrestleMania, had it not been for
COVID-19.
However, this did slightly surprise us, although I'm glad they did it, because this turned into a relatively competitive triple threat match, which after some back and forth near falls as we see it in so many triple threat matches, it ended up with Charlotte going for the figure eight.
Yep.
only to be sent flying out of the ring, allowing Rhea Ripley to perform the Riptide onto Asuka, and just like a WrestleMania, in Asuka to retain the Raw Women's Championship. However, let's just say Charlotte was not happy about that.
No, she wasn't.
And the next night on Raw would go on to basically complain to Sonya and Adam that because she wasn't pinned, she deserves a one-on-one championship match against Rhea Ripley. They said that if she would defeat Asuka later in that night, they would consider the request. However, due to a little bit of outside interference by Ripley, Asuka would win that match, which will probably lead to a one-on-one championship match being made at the next pay-per-view, which incidentally WWE announced would be Hell in a Cell. Yes. They, for some bizarre reason, have decided to move Hell in a Cell from October to June.
Yes. And I wonder why that is. Oh, I know why. Probably COVID-19.
Either that, or maybe they want to continue to go along the theme of the horror show at Extreme Rules, and that will be more suited in October, around about Halloween time.
And speaking of horror, we'll get on to that soon.
Or maybe they are hoping to do the Saudi Arabia show in October and think that it will be difficult
Say
to have, and it'd be difficult to build two shows at once, as we have done for the past several years.
So we move on to our next match. It will be for the SmackDown Tag Team titles as the Dirty Dogs, otherwise known as Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, put the titles on the line against the father and son team of Rey and Dominic Mysterio.
And we saw this was a tag team match because earlier in the show we saw that Dominic had apparently been attacked backstage by Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, which made it so unlikely for him to be able to compete. And they was either asked to find a new partner, but oh no, he decided to compete on his own. Which
in the early going of this match, things weren't going well for Rey.
Yes, Ray had a couple of moments where he was able to get the better of Roode and Ziggler, but for the most part, the Dirty Dogs had their way with him. That was until about halfway to 2/3 during the match. Dominic makes his way down to the ring, and despite the fact that Ray is hesitant to tag him into the match, he does a blind tag and gets himself into the ring. Then they go at it for a while with him and I think it's Roode.
Yeah.
Then there's a few back and forth tags. Then the ending of the match is a bit of a weird one. Because we had a Rey Mysterio performed a 619 in a unique spot of a win. As he normally does it in the middle of the ropes. This 619 was performed very close to one corner of the ring at the turnbuckle area onto Robert Roode. They would then eliminate Ziggler from the equation and tag in Dominic, who would climb to the top rope and in a tribute slash consequence to their good friend Eddie Guerrero, who, by the way, Rey Mysterio won the tag team titles with about 17 years ago in 2005. Dominic would hit a frog splash and pin Robert Roode for Rey and Dominic Mysterio to win the tag team titles and make history by becoming the first father and son tag team champions in WWE history.
Yes, you heard us right. Rey and Dominic Mysterio have made history by becoming the first father and son tag team to win the tag team titles in WWE. Now, we're going to go down the side of WTF.
Yes, our next match is the Lumberjack match between Damian Priest and The Miz.
With John Morrison in his corner. Now, this has a little bit weird, but a bit of real life to it, because there's a certain movie coming out starring a certain soon-to-be Hall of Famer.
Yes, for some bizarre reason, as a supposed tie-in for Batista's upcoming film Army of the Dead, WWE decided that this Lumberjack match should have the Lumberjacks as zombies.
Yes, you heard us right. Zombies.
So there isn't much to say in this regard to this match, apart from The Miz especially was creeped out.
Yes, as was John Morrison.
At one point, Priest and Miz even teamed up to fend off the zombies.
In the end, however, Morrison was, in quote, devoured by zombies.
Yes, which caused Miz to be distracted and allowed Priest to perform the hit the lights finishing maneuver on The Miz for the
Recount.
allowing the zombies to then devour The Miz. Now, the strange thing about this is that John Morrison was then seen the next night on Raw.
Yes.
However, The Miz wasn't, and it was reported afterwards that during a spot in the match, I think where Priest did like a top rope splash onto Miz and landed on his awkwardly on his leg. The Miz has suffered a torn ACL injury.
Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. And that is the Miz's first serious injury in his
16-year career.
He's been very good with injuries until now.
Now, the exact the exact seriousness of this injury as to whether it will require surgery or not hasn't been discovered by us yet.
Not by us, but if we hear anything, we will let you listeners on the Wrestling Talk Show know.
Now can we go back to a little bit of normality?
Yes, we can. It will be for the SmackDown Women's Championship as the EST of SmackDown, Bianca Belair, puts her title on the line against Ding Dong. Hello.
And the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion, who, after not holding the championship for several months, was looking to get it back.
Yeah.
Just like Rhea Ripley, less like Rhea Ripley, it would have made no sense to build Bianca Belair, because let's face it, out of the two women's champions, they've done and invested a huge amount of time in building of Bianca Belair from when she came to the main roster to winning the Women's Royal Rumble match and all the way to WrestleMania to defeat Sasha Banks, who, in typical Sasha Banks fashion, by the way, just lost at WrestleMania and decided to disappear.
Now, where has that been familiar? Oh, wait, she's already done so before.
But going back to what I was saying, it would have made no sense to have Bianca Belair be built up so strong, win the championship, and then lose it in her first championship defense.
No.
And in a similar situation to what happened, well, I say similar situation to what happened in WrestleMania, it's similar but also a slightly different one, because if we remember at WrestleMania, Belair used her hair blade to whip Sasha Banks before hitting the KOD. Here, Bayley tried to use the hair only for Bianca Belair to counter into a roof wedge press, use the hair to gain a slight leverage advantage, and get the free count. However, in my opinion, if you watch the ending of this match, it's in a similar situation to what happened at WrestleMania 35 for me. In that I'm not fully convinced that Bayley's shoulder was down when the referee's hand hit the mat for free.
Yeah.
In any event, Bianca Belair, rightfully so, is still a SmackDown Women's Champion. And the question now is, who is her next challenger? Does she have a another match with Bayley? Does Sasha come back for the rematch? We know that Natalya and Tamina can't get involved in the title picture because they're now the women's tag team champions, which by the way happened on the SmackDown before Backlash. But now we jump forward to the second of two triple threat matches.
Yes, as the almighty WWE Champion Bobby Lashley puts his title on the line against Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre.
Now, here we have several incidences in which Lashley and McIntyre would fight their way up to the entrance ramp. where McIntyre would throw Lashley through the LED boards.
Ow.
And back in the ring, McIntyre and Strowman would continue the match. But in a most opportune moment, which I can't say I blame him because the Sheffield Fed matches is all about being at the right place at the right time. Drew McIntyre managed to hit the Claymore onto Braun Strowman, only for Lashley to appear, throw McIntyre out of the ring, then hit a spear, which is not your move,
No, it's not.
onto Strowman to pin Strowman and retain the championship. And in a similar situation to Charlotte, McIntyre made a point the next night on Raw that he was not pinned in the Fred match, so he wants another match with Bobby Lashley. As
But
Bob,
MVP says no.
well, yeah, because they decided that Lashley was going to do an open challenge, which was a later accepted by former champion Kofi Kingston, who had already competed on Monday Night Raw.
So he was pulling double duty that night.
And then it was revealed that this would not be a WWE Championship match.
It was a ruse by Lashley and MVP.
But then, with a little bit of help from Drew McIntyre, who basically took MVP's walking stick and hit McIntyre and hit Lashley with it, allowing Kingston to pick up the victory. It is looking like we will have at least one more match between these two. And that will probably be the conclusion of the rivalry between these two. I will admit, I am glad and almost impressed that they seem to be giving, I wouldn't say a decent run, but they seem to be giving Lashley a fairly decent run with the championship, when we all thought that he was going to lose the championship just a couple of weeks after winning it at WrestleMania, and now he's been champion for 2.5 to 3 months.
But now we're going to go on to our main event of WrestleMania Backlash. As the head of the table puts his championship on the line against Cesaro.
AKA Roman Reigns versus Cesaro for the Universal Championship.
Yes.
Now, we kind of suspected what this was going to be. This was going to be a showcase match for Cesaro, but in the end, it was going to be a match which Roman Reigns was going to win, as again by technical submission. But that didn't get. We had during this we had Roman Reigns target Cesaro's right arm, which was preventing him from using his uppercuts.
The neutralizer.
And we had a fair few submission holds, which these two were also, well, Cesaro was also known for. But in the end, as is the case with a lot of these matches, Roman Reigns manages to get the guillotine choke onto Cesaro, who, pretty much like everyone else, did not tap out but passed out, allowing Reigns to retain the title by technical submission. And Roman Reigns is now closing in on a year-long title reign. All he has to do is hold the title for 3 more months, which he probably will do unless he loses it at SummerSlam, which he may come just short of a year-long run.
Yes.
But
there
the story did not end there though, because after the match, Roman Reigns' bitch, aka Jey Uso,
Sorry for the language.
aka Jey Uso, decided to attack Cesaro. And then, do you want to do the honors about who
What
came,
I should do?
about who came out?
Jimmy Uso then comes out.
Correction.
Oh, allow it. He's not Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
And Seth Rollins, who has had an ongoing issue with Cesaro, which led to WrestleMania, comes out and continues the attack, smashing the right arm against the announce table, along with a steel chair into the turnbuckle, and then a stomp to end things off. And as I suspected last week, the situation between these two is not quite over with.
It's not.
So that wraps up the match card and results for AEW. AEW and WWE Backlash.
Edit that out. Bleep, 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 WWE. Let's fucking do the last cut one more time.
In the pre-show match, Sheamus defeated Ricochet.
On the actual match card, Rhea Ripley retained her Raw Women's Championship against Empress of Tomorrow Asuka and the Queen Charlotte Flair.
The father and son duo of Rey and Dominic Mysterio defeated the Dirty Dogs of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
Damian Priest defeated The Miz in a lumber zombie match, only for The Miz to be disavowed after the match.
Bianca Belair retained the SmackDown Women's Championship match by defeating Bayley.
And Bobby Lashley retained his WWE Championship by beating Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre.
And finally, Roman Reigns retained the Universal Championship by technical submission over Cesaro.
So that about does it for our WrestleMania Backlash post-show.
Now, you will hear from us every week for the next month.
Yes.
As next week we switch companies for the next 2 shows.
We do.
Then next time we come at you with a WWE show, NXT will take over in your house again.
Yes, for the second year in a row.
And then we go back to Hell in a Cell.
Or Red in the Cell, whatever you want to call it.
Well, until then,
He's Ed. He's been
Race for Rock Jones, and he's been
Sean Randy Smith, and we will see you soon.